Ooh, man, interesting. Very interesting. Um, so a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week or two ago, there was a confirmation of Linares taking on Devin Haney. But before the fight was, I guess, quote, official, um, Devin Haney's camp, Bill, we're talking about supposedly they sent Lomachenko. Oh, we sent Lomachenko and Linares both contracts, and if Lomachenko agrees to it, then we're gonna do that fight, and if not, then we'll just take on Linares, and then after that, then the confirmation came that he's taking on Linares, and that Lomachenko, he's just scared, he doesn't really want to fight, and it kind of made me sit there and say and think to myself like what are y'all talking about? Like, that you have this deal already set with Linares, and that to the side, because sometimes you can't be talking to two people at the same time. My question was, how are you sending out a contract without negotiating with this dude at all? You just no negotiations, no nothing. You're just sending out a contract, and even if you quote sent out a contract, what would you have sent something? Have you, have sent something where you actually believe this person's going to take that? Because anybody can send quote a contract. You know, anybody can do that. Gary Russell was quote sent a contract, and with a lot of BS in it. Was supposed to be a term sheet that actually was a contract, and a lot of BS in it. When that man's not signing that thing. So anybody can do that as well, and especially somebody of that nature. Last time he came over to the zone, you gave him $5 million to fight Campbell. So are you going to be giving, for a fight of this magnitude, are you going to be giving him the funds that will be necessary to get for a fight like that to happen? Because he has other options, that he can do. And Lomachenko's not coming out and saying that was BS, that they never sent him anything, and for them to stop lying, which I personally wouldn't be shocked. And I'm not the biggest Lomachenko fan. I've talked positive about Lomachenko. I've talked negative about Lomachenko. I don't get the emotions out of it. I just call things as I see them. I call things as I see them. And I'm never really the type to also necessarily call a fighter scared. Oh, he's scared to fight this guy. He's scared to fight that guy. I don't necessarily look at that. I always look at who are you signed to, and how does that promotional company, how does that, how do they maneuver? How do they move? And that's what I go with. So with Devin Haney being signed to Eddie Hearn, I've been able to call what he's going to do, how he's going to do it very simple. It's very simply, because of who he's signed to. For whatever reason, people have this thing where it's like, okay, when it comes to Eddie Hearn, when it comes to all these guys over here, this is how he works. But when it comes to Devin Haney, okay, it's different. And I don't see that. I'm in the minority. It's probably me and probably just me, that's calling this. And it's one of those things where I've always said over time, especially probably over the next 24 months or so, the true colors will show. And I'm not afraid to do that because everything is happening with Crawford now. I called it back then. When everybody was like, nah, everybody's scared of him, no one wants to fight him. Listen, I was like, no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is at all. And everything that's happening now with him, I called this way back then. Called it way back then. So even with Linares, I guess they had tried to negotiate with Linares before, but Linares didn't like the terms or whatever it was. Negotiations didn't go well. So Linares walked off because negotiations didn't go well. And then the narrative all of a sudden became, oh, Linares was scared. Linares doesn't want to fight him. Linares just scared. It's like, I think it's a situation where people have to start thinking a little bit. Like, think for a second. Why exactly would Linares be scared to fight Devin Haney? Why would Fortuna be scared to fight Devin? These guys have losses. They've lost before. And you're not facing this. I could understand somebody like Tank. Because when you fight Tank, you usually, during that fight, find yourself waking up You know, you haven't been where they gotta sit you up, they gotta put you there on a stool, they gotta put you in an ambulance and take you to the hospital to get, checks to make sure your brain is still working correctly because of what he does to people. Usually you get short circuited in some way. With Devin Haney, especially if you're a high B level fighter, an A fighter, it's a 12-round fight. Worst case scenario, you lose a 12-round decision. The guy's very light on his feet, boxes, he moves. And worst thing's gonna happen to you is, for the most part, is you're gonna get your tail, a boxing lesson for 12 rounds. That's it. And you're gonna get your check. Nothing crazy is gonna happen to you. So it's like, so why would these guys be scared of him? And like, no one really thinks about that. And I understand, certain people, don't want to fight him. I do believe that. But it's certain, I do believe that. But I also believe his camp also would not let him fight certain other people as well, though. Like the Gary Russell fight. I knew that wasn't going to happen. They're not going to do a fight of that level at this point. I personally don't. If Teofimo really actually wanted to fight him, I don't think that fight would happen. Honestly, I do not think that fight would happen. But Teofimo right now, for whatever reason, doesn't want to fight him. Yeah, I agree with that too, though. They're both true. And I say that not because I believe Devin is scared, but I say that because of the way Eddie Hearn runs his business, because of the way Eddie Hearn maneuvers his boxers. That's why I say that. Even with a Tevin Farmer who had boxed his way up and talked his way into a position where now all of a sudden you're being offered $2 million to take on a Gervonta Tank Davis. And Eddie Hearn saying no. That quote, that's not even a starting point. That even with Teofimo Lopez, even though you offered, you gave a Ramirez $4 million to come and fight on your network against Hooker. You gave Lomachenko $5 million to fight against Campbell. You gave Mikey Garcia, coming off a loss versus Earl Spence, $7 million to fight on your network against Jesse Vargas. But then you only offered Teofimo $4 million flat for basically what would be an undisputed match on your network versus the two top guys, young dudes that's out there, two of the top young guys out there in the division, with him coming off beating Lomachenko in front of 2 million plus people. That's what you offer. You're offering something that he's not going to take. He's not going to take. Yet you're paying Devin $3 million to fight Linares. $3 million to fight Linares, but you only offer this man $4 million to fight Devin, and you expect him to come onto your network to do so. Leave your network and the comfort of your home, which is Top Rank, which is ESPN. Come over to my network, and I'm gonna only give you $1 million more than what I'm paying my guy to face Linares. I'm gonna pay you less money than Lomachenko, the guy you beat. I'm gonna offer you less money than when I offered him to fight Campbell on my network. You gotta start reading these things, man. And start looking at these things. They're like little tea leaves that, bring you to the reality of what all this is. And it's the same game plan that's bestowed with all the other fighters that are on that brand. Just like Anthony Joshua, the fight with Wilder is only worth this, it's only worth that, it's only worth this. This whole fight is worth less than $50 million. Cool. Wilder's people say, we got $50 million just for you. We'll give you what this entire fight is worth. You can have that. And in the rematch, I'll guarantee you another 30. And still give you 50-50. So if it's worth that, that's all it's worth, you're going to get that. If it's worth more, we'll give you 50% of that. Once we've hit, 100, we'll give you 50% of that. But we're going to give you what you say its quote is worth. And they had him turn that down. They had him turn that down as well. This is how this man operates. He'll make it seem as if, oh yeah, we want to do this fight, we want to do this fight, we want to do this fight. But when it comes down to it, if it's not with one of his guys, if it's a situation where his guy could probably possibly lose, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And the only difference is, Devin is the fighter. And now what they do is they use Bill Haney as the mouthpiece. It's not Eddie Hearn. Instead of Eddie Hearn, let's use Bill as the mouthpiece. And if Eddie Hearn then needs to come in there when they start negotiating, then he'll do that. And that's all it is. And, he's a young kid. So I figure it's a situation where he's listening to what he's being told. He's doing what he's told to do. Because obviously he believes these people are looking out for his best interest. But I just believe that over time, this facade, I guess you could say, it's going to end up blowing up in their face. And it's going to end up making the kid look bad. And he's talented. He's very skilled. And he definitely can beat certain, definitely can beat certain guys. Definitely has a chance to beat anybody. So it's not a situation where I'm saying that he's not skilled. There's not a situation where I'm saying he's scared in any way. What I'm saying is he's basically being run with the Eddie Hearn blueprint, the Matchroom blueprint. And over time, people are going to realize that's what it is. Just like with Linares. Oh, he's scared. He doesn't really want to fight. Okay, but then they come back, they negotiate, and they're able to come back with a deal. What happened? I thought he was scared. I thought he didn't want to fight you. But now all of a sudden, he's willing to fight you now, though, right? What happened? What changed? Because you actually negotiated, came up with terms that actually worked for him. So now you're good. And even with Teofimo Lopez, yes, it'll probably take like 10 M's for him to fight you. But I also think that's why Teofimo was talking about, hey, I'm going to, ask for them to make you my mandatory next. Because then in that situation, you can have someone like Triller bid on the fight, where then he'll get the amount of money that he wants for it. Where he'll get the amount where he can cut off Top Rank again and get the funds that he wants. That's necessary for him in order to do that fight. But over the next 24 months or so, we'll see. But little things keep happening, one after another. Giant tea leaves to me, actually. But we'll see. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.